Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Monday Movie Pickup. Well, let's get right into it. It's been a while, so got a couple new titles that I've been getting from the last couple of weeks, and recently I did finally get two of my favorite movies of 2019. We got Hustlers over here, and we got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Both really great movies. These were in my top 10 of the year. I actually just gave Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a rewatch, and I was even more impressed by the movie. I really enjoy it. I think it's just as good as any one of the other Tarantino movies. Before, I liked it a lot. It was in my top 10, but I felt that it probably wasn't Tarantino's best or even near his best, but rewatching it, I'm appreciating it even more. And it definitely works better on rewatches. Hustlers, which, you know, they just announced all the Oscars, so actually this movie kind of got shut out entirely from any Oscar nominations, which is really disappointing. There's a lot of good performances. It's a really solid movie, and I mean, it did pretty well at the box office, but I'm guessing there's a lot of people out there who still haven't really given it a chance. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. This is a lot of fun. And then, of course, I got another new movie, Hobbs and Shaw, which was a fine enough Fast and Furious movie. I would have preferred to just have the entire cast return rather than two of the cast members. I even hear that Fast and Furious 9 won't have either of these actors in it, so I feel like I lost some with this movie, and now with Fast and Furious 9, I'm also going to lose some. I think the movie series works best when we have everyone together, but you know, have to finish my Fast and Furious collection. Toy Story 4 also, which, yeah, I really like this movie a lot. I know some people overall are kind of having mixed opinions about it. They feel that maybe it's not as good as the other movies in the series. Seems to be a lot of comparisons to the third one, but I actually found this one to maybe even be better than the third movie. That might be because I've seen the third one so much that I can just begin to see the flaws a lot easier, whereas this movie I've seen it way less. It's more recent, so maybe I'm coming to like it a little more, but I don't know. I felt like they did with the characters in this movie what they should have done in Toy Story 3. It seems like they evolved them a lot more and gave them a lot more development. I'm continuing my Hitchcock collection as well, To Catch a Thief, which I've never seen before. I'm still catching up on Hitchcock movies. Essentially anything that's not in the Hitchcock Universal box set. Everything else is, it depends how well known the movies are. And this is the British International Pictures Collection, so this was actually just released by Kino, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. This is filled with a lot of silent films that he made between 1927 and 1931. We have The Ring, The Farmer's Wife, Champagne, The Manxman, and Skin Game. Due to copyright issues between Britain and the US, a lot of these movies have shown up on those cheap public domain box sets, and I actually own all of them. I think there's exactly, I want to say 18 Alfred Hitchcock films that can show up on any given public domain box set, which includes Alfred Hitchcock box set itself, which has all those movies. They're all silent films. There's a couple sound films, but Criterion has released a couple of them. Other studios have gotten the rights to release them, and Kino actually started working on releasing a lot of them individually. I know I saw Blackmail and Murder on a separate release, but for this edition they actually combined a lot of the films. There were going to be two other movies with this, I forget which ones, but they didn't get a cleaned up, restored version in time for this release, so they decided to cut it back down to 5 films. I'm guessing they're going to release the other ones eventually, so they're really starting to pick up on the Hitchcock movies, and I'm guessing eventually we're going to have pretty much every movie on Blu-ray. Troll and Troll 2, actually this Shout Factory set recently went out of print, so try to buy it now before the price starts going up. I bought this set to review Troll 2, which is actually on my YouTube channel now as a Patreon request. To me, there is a movie even better than Troll 2 for, like, so bad it's good. And that is right here. This is Tammy and the T-Rex. 2019, April Fools. My local theater did an April Fool's movie. It was a surprise. All you did was buy tickets, and you go and you see what it is. And It was a sold-out showing, and the movie begins, and it's this. I had never heard of this movie. It's got an interesting history. Tammy and the T-Rex, basically what happened was somebody had access to a T-Rex model, animatronic, that was meant to go to a theme park. They decided, hey, do you want to use this T-Rex for anything? And they wrote a movie around it. In the movie, Paul Walker, which this is like his film debut, he has got a thing for Denise Richards, who also, I believe, is like her film debut. He gets in an accident, and essentially his brain and they implant it into this dinosaur animatronic, and then Paul Walker is the dinosaur. And they just kind of leave it at that. Vinegar Syndrome, just for Black Friday this year, released Tammy and the T-Rex for the first time on Blu-ray. They made an edit of the movie because it is on VHS, on an out-of-print, very rare VHS. But there's also an edit of the movie that is exclusively in Italy. It was originally supposed to be a much more gory movie with some horror elements. It has a sense of humor about it, but basically for the American release, they wanted to cut out all the gore because it does go really far, especially for, comedic purposes. The rest of the movie has not anything like that gore, so cutting it out, it doesn't even feel like anything's gone. But for the purpose of showing it in theaters, they actually edited those scenes back in. The only problem is, it's only in Italy, it's only been on television, so it was a television transfer of it, and it was all in Italian. But they would throw it into the movie, and they edited it into one feature-length thing, so we would have the English version, and then anytime there was the gory parts, it would all be in Italian, but that was the only way to see the movie in full. Well, with this Blu-ray release, they actually found the cleaned-up version of it, so it's actually the 35mm film transferred onto the Blu-ray disc. And with watching the Home Alone movies, I just rewatched Home Alone 2 for the first time in a couple of years, and it's bad, but I did want to kind of give the other Home Alone movies a watch, so I actually found Home Alone 3, yeah. Home Alone 3 was at Target, and I was like, I know it's only a DVD release, they never released it on Blu-ray, so I was like, okay. Best of the worst set, so I actually got this for Christmas from the Cinema Swamp. Thanks, guys, but yeah. This is just a Mill Creek set with a bunch of public domain films, and they were hoping I hadn't already owned all these movies on a different set, but there's actually quite a few on here that I never heard of. And then probably the crowning achievement of this episode is the Ewok Adventures on DVD. It was kind of a weird thing that happened with this. I bought it on eBay on a whim. It was $15. Usually it goes for $40 or more, and I've never felt the need to actually buy it. But with the recent release of Rise of Skywalker, I was like, I should try to finish everything Star Wars that I haven't finished already. I haven't seen the Clone Wars movie or the TV series, but the Ewok movies, I would love to give these a watch. I mean, I've seen the Star Wars holiday specials, so I'm assuming they can't get any worse. I remember this DVD release when, in 2004, around the time Revenge of the Sith was a thing. I remember seeing it in stores, but since then, it's been out of print. Anytime it's sold online, it's for higher prices. Well, I found this copy for $15 on eBay, and I decided to give it a try. But the only problem was the seller was from Russia, and I started to feel a little like, okay, maybe I just wasted $15 on something that's not legit. And I waited a month, and I kind of forgot about it. Even one of my friends actually got access to the Ewok Adventures DVD, so I was like, okay, if this doesn't work out, at least I'll see them eventually. But then, one day in the mail, it actually popped up. Yeah, the Russian seller pulled through, and now I have the Ewok Adventure movies. I don't know when we'll do another episode. I'm trying to buy less for the year of 2020, so there may be less episodes of the show in general. Of course, I've never kept to my word before in regards to how many Blu-rays I bought, so I don't know. I feel like you'll just see me again in the week. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks to all my Patreon supporters. For only $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. Ask me to review anything I haven't already. There's also other perks like blogs, exclusive videos, and early access. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And thanks so much for watching this video.